CentralValleyTalk.com.
Welcome back to Law Talk, where we have legal answers today from Sam Salhab. Welcome on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here.
Sam does DUIs and some family law, entertainment law.
Nice mix.
Yeah. Do you have any horror stories about DUI cases that you've had, or what's like the worst case that you ever?
I don't know if I'd like to share that on the air.
Oh, okay.
But it's with all the confidentiality. But
well, you don't have to mention names.
Listen, DUIs have their own types of pitfalls and horror stories, and a lot of the times with DUIs, you have decent people that have really done something stupid. So you have to be careful with your client, not to treat them with the most respect you can, because you may have a doctor that got in trouble. You may have a nurse. You may have somebody who is a janitor, but it's all the same thing. They're all in trouble and they need help. So all kinds of different stories coming from different people. It's
I could imagine. What's the best way to pick a DUI lawyer? I know they should pick you.
Oh, thank you.
But
these days, not unlike 10 years ago, you can get on Google and look at reviews. There's a site called avvo.com, avvo.com. A lot of people seem to like to go on there and get testimonials. Lawyers get endorsed. I think one of the best things is the reviews. That wasn't around 10 years ago, and although there can be some people who write fake reviews, I think if somebody has 10 reviews and the gist is that they do a good job in 6 or 7 of them, you may be able to feel confident enough to call them and make an appointment, but you should definitely go see them, look them in the eye, talk to them face to face, and see if they're worthy of representing you. So.
Okay. Well, how long does it take from the time they walk into your office until the time the whole thing is decided one way or the other?
It depends on the DA's office, because a lot of the times people will come into the office saying, I got arrested for a DUI, but the DA won't file charges for months down the road. And so you have to basically counsel them and let them know that things are not going to happen on their time. There's also the DMV that they have to worry about. The DMV stuff that happens to somebody who gets arrested for a DUI happens much quicker. So we first have to really usually deal with the DMV and then court. So it can be a slow, frustrating process for a lot of people.
DMV will do things even if there's no charges filed, just because someone's arrested for the DUI.
Yes, they are looking to take your license and make you do their DUI school. And quite frankly, you have 10 days to set a hearing whether your license should be suspended once you're arrested. And then at that hearing, they will talk to the officer, they will look at your reports, and then based on that, they will decide whether to suspend your license. You only have 10 days to set that hearing.
Oh, you have to set it?
No, anybody can set it.
Anybody can set it.
But you only have 10 days. So if you wait past that 10 days to go talk to a lawyer to educate you about your case, you may miss that, and your license will be suspended automatically.
Oh, they're going to suspend it unless you do something. I hadn't even kind of forgotten about that. They're going to suspend it unless you do something in those next 10 days.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And they make significant revenue from the DUI school, so they have a lot of incentive to get these hearings done, suspend the licenses of those who they feel should be suspended. They are winnable.
And then what are they looking for what makes it so that your license is not going to be suspended as opposed to the person, like maybe a repeat offense would be
that's a good question.
Automatic suspension?
No. It depends on if you're on probation for that repeat offense. But most of the time, what they're looking for is whether you were pulled over legally. They will, even though they're not lawyers at the DMV, they will ask that question, and that's why it's important to send a lawyer to educate them on whether you were pulled over legally or not, because you don't want non-lawyers making that assessment.
Right.
Whether you had a blood alcohol level of 0.08 or above is another issue. And quite frankly, most people don't realize that your test that you take, whether through blood or whether through the machine, is usually about an hour or an hour and a half after you're arrested. So that what you spit into the machine or what you blow into the machine wasn't your level at the time you were driving. So you can employ an expert to figure out what your blood alcohol level was at the time of driving. In fact, if you go to trial on your DUI, the district attorney will produce an expert that will go back in time and usually say that your blood alcohol was much higher than when you actually
I was going to say, would it be higher or lower? It depends if you're going up or you're going down. Or
the DAs, the district attorneys, they have the Department of Justice do this analysis for them. And people, that's all they do. That's all these folks will do. You give them some numbers, what your BAC was, what you ate that day. They'll write it down, figure out a formula, and tell you what your BAC was, your blood alcohol content was at a certain time.
Some of
And,
those things you're talking about sound a little bit more complicated than maybe someone would want to do representing themselves. Or
it depends
we
on.
have capable public defenders, but
Absolutely. There are very capable public defenders. I think that the difference between private lawyers and the public defenders is their caseload. So you can have an excellent attorney at the public defender's office with maybe, a caseload of 200 cases. It's very hard to be extremely effective when you have 200 cases that you've got to get done and that there's a time frame to get them done. Whereas a private lawyer can take his time, meet with you, consult
Right.
with you, get you copies of your reports very quickly, and you can formulate a defense with your client very quickly, as opposed to if you go with a public defender. I don't want to badmouth the public defender's office, but
I wouldn't imagine they'd be able to do much on the DMV hearing either. Would
they don't do them at all.
No.
So, if you have the resources to fight your case, you can fight it very effectively. Unfortunately, that's America. The people with more
Right.
resources can fight their cases more effectively. There's all kinds of things that can be done.
How many resources do you need to effectively defend yourself from a DUI or a DMV thing?
Well, I'll tell you that
if you're the attorney.
I think that, just because we're the attorney, the courts don't see us as experts, number one. And number two, you can't put yourself on the stand anyway. So even if I was an expert, I couldn't ask myself questions. I think the most instrumental part is employing an expert to, calculate what your blood alcohol level was. And employing them to do that can cost thousands of dollars. To come to testify at the DMV hearing, to come testify at your trial, it can be thousands of dollars, and that really sometimes separates a good result from a bad result.
What if somebody only has say somebody only has can only scrap together say $3,000 or something like that? Is that gonna get them a defense? Is that gonna be a down payment? Or?
No, it will get them a good defense. It will get them a reasonable defense. Obviously you have some lawyers around here, and we've also looked at flying experts from across the nation to come testify. I know experts that have done that. Obviously that costs a lot more money than having somebody local. The whole point is to try to impress the jury and with their credentials, and I think that does happen a lot. But what you also have to realize is that you could get an expert on your case, and he could come up to you and say, your BAC was higher. So you can't buy a defense. You just have to buy the resources to enable you and to educate you about your case so you can put together the best defense with your attorney.
So say somebody's sold on you, they have a DUI, and they're not quite sure what to do. How do they get a hold of you?
They call me at 412-9888. That's the best way to get in touch with us. Again, there's a lot of websites that we're featured on as well. Avo.com is one of them. If you type DUI Attorney Fresno in Google, we're going to be at the top of the list.
Okay.
So that's another way that you can find us.
We have a website?
Absolutely.
Or a Facebook
It's my
page, or?
last name, Salhab Law,
Okay.
SALHAB law.com. On there, you can easily get in touch with me. I have a little contact section. You can get in touch with me almost instantly if you just get on the website.
Okay. And what are the things that people, in your experience, almost always do wrong before they come to your office that maybe you could give a little bit of advice to save? I mean, other than not drinking and driving, perhaps.
Right. Well, obviously I always like to tell folks, just try to avoid getting the DUI in the first place. Try to find a ride. I can't endorse some of the services that are out there, but there are some services that will pick you up for free even and take you home.
I've never heard of
so
that
that's
before.
there
I always
are.
thought you had to pay a taxi.
There are.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to ever come see me unless you need a copyright on your song, because we do that too. But that's the biggest thing. I think one of the other things that some defendants do, and good people, is they tend to maybe get combative with the officer because they don't feel like they were pulled over for the correct reason, or they just don't feel tipsy, or they themselves don't feel like they've had effects of the alcohol. Don't. Just do what the officer says. It will be used against you in court if you are combative or not cooperative. We use cooperation to get better results for our clients. And then in California, there's a fine line between resisting an arrest and giving an officer the mouth. So, we've had some encounters where somebody's given an officer too much of his peace of mind and he gets arrested for delaying an investigation as well. So,
And they might be drunk in the first place, and so
yeah, they
shoot off.
could be intoxicated, correct? And to an officer, that's a red flag, and that's almost asking for an arrest. Another thing that you can not do, because there's just no need to, is I've seen people flee. They get pulled over and then they leave,
Oh, God.
or they get into an accident and then they leave.
That's just going to make it
I
worse.
can't tell you how much that makes you look terrible in court. No matter what you do for a living, no matter how many people that you've helped save, whether you're a doctor or a nurse, if you flee the scene, they see it as almost you knew you were guilty,
Yeah.
and that's why you fled. So,
Well, we got a whole lot more material that we could cover. We got another segment. We're going to have a short break. Maybe when we come back, we can talk about what to do if you're pulled over for a DUI, and what to do if you come across a DUI checkpoint.
That sounds good.
Okay?
All right.
That sounds good. One more time, tell us how we can get a hold of you.
Phone number is 559-441-9100, or go to my website, salhablaw.com, SALHAB as in boy, law.com.
All right.